analyst is also public affairs analyst.
Thank you for having me.
Said you were in traffic, but the roads were deserted. His price hike.
Well, actually, not,
Every day.
it's not traffic or vehicle.
Okay.
That
close to you. Okay, you're welcome back. And welcome to the studio. Some of the headline stories, especially starting with the leadership. Nigeria's most influential newspaper says as ECOWAS deadline is actually ECOWAS gave a 7-day ultimatum to the military junta in Niger Republic to reinstate the deposed democratically elected president Bazoum, or else meets position from ECOWAS. And here we have the ECOWAS deadline has ended, and of course we have Nigerians that said no, that opposed it, talking about northern senators, Nigerian Elders Forum, National Elders Forum, and other Nigerians who said no to military action.
Yes, we actually have
as leadership captioned it, opposition swears against military action in Niger.
Right.
What are your views? But was president actually towing the right path by using, like everybody will say that the military action should be the last action we taking?
Well,
when you have exhausted.
If you look at it's about three-way thing. One, it has global dimension, so I expect UN to take the lead to declare the war. They now have to do with Nigeria. And then secondly, AU, we don't know what AU actually are doing, AU position. Then thirdly, we look at ECOWAS. You know, even Nigeria as a government, democracy in Nigeria is also feeling threats. If you look at it, because most countries around us, Mali, Niger, Guinea, Burkina Faso, and this is a challenge in Africa. So we have to look at. So I don't blame President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and I'm making him the ECOWAS president is strategic.
But sorry, before I allowed you to speak, is it that the president is just being goaded into military action by foreign superpowers? Because we have the France's largest newspaper, Le Monde, saying that for him to declare that to ensure that it's actually a government, a credible government, that Tinubu should take that military action.
That's not even correct. They're just pushing us towards.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. I'm getting your views.
ECOWAS should not take the lead. Tinubu. ECOWAS should not take the lead. United Nations should take the lead. Then ECOWAS being in our sub-region, then we can now follow suit. Remember that ECOWAS actually had a base in Niger Republic. There's about 2 military bases in Niger Republic, and they are there when UN actually have a base there. I mean UN. So now, and your base is there, and they still carry out the coup. So you're supposed to put on more action. So I think Tinubu should just take it slow, because we have much more problem in that, and we don't have enough of money to trade off for such war now. Remember, Nigeria take charge of about 65% of any cost that ECOWAS is going to incur. So, and where do we have the money this time? So I think the president should take it easy. However, he cannot even go into war now, because he has to pass through national assembly, so he cannot take the lead. But I must also tell you that he's also trying to show his proactive, because if you notice, he became president not up to 1 month. He became ECOWAS chairman, so it's quite strategic. They also know, they have to feel that. If you will also recall, even the Bazoum himself came to meet Tinubu 4 days before the coup. So there's something that they have been noticing that is in offing. But I think they should also go diplomatic for now, not to rush into war. It's better to judge war than to war.
No, there's been like one people couched it that anxiety heightens in northern Nigeria, because the northerners, the Northern Elders Forum, and even some northern lawmakers have said that the north Niger is an extension of the northern Nigeria, and that having this military action against Niger will also may have also consequences and fatalities among the northern.
What you're just trying to say is that if you look at northern Nigeria, especially those ones that have share border with Niger, most of their families are also there. I can tell you, most of our governors even have investments in Niger. You also notice that our former president also mentioned that if there's any problem in Nigeria, you will go to Niger. This and that. So I agree with the northern part of Nigeria, because if there's any war, Nigeria will be based because you cannot fly. You have to come to the flank of the country and go in through. So there will be tension, there will be insecurity. I know we are still trying to fight insurgency. So that may even blow it up, and they may not have a good economy in that area. So I think it's a good idea that we should go through diplomacy. But Abdulsalam Obakar had been there, General Abdulsalam, our former president, and our former general to Sultan of Sokoto. So we don't know how far and what they are far. But I think it's quite somehow if we don't really tame this the caution of the military junta.
But many experts are of the opinion that military action ought to have been the last resort, not even the last resort anyway, given the fact that prior to this time, Nigeria has diplomatic ties with Niger. They have some multinational lateral signatures, policies they arrived at, and that's Tinubu taking this hasty action to go and using military action.
I think even because it is Tinubu, I think if it's Buhari, they wouldn't have even done what they do now. And you also recall what Settlement Principle tried to do and Obasanjo came. But I think it's a show of power sometimes to even use that statement.
Can Nigeria bear another war, given the fact that what the present realities in the economy is now, and the fact that our troops have actually beleaguered going by the terrorists?
No. In as much as we are trying to say it is good that we go with a peaceful nation too. Nigeria and Niger, in terms of war, Niger cannot stand Nigeria. Because I saw the analysis and I saw how
we saw that. But do we really need it?
We don't need war, but they are too close to us to be also doing what they are doing. So I think what Tinubu should do now is since Harry is it Calaria, the vice president of America, is making the call, doing this Kamala. So this Kamala and the French and Russia, because Russia also is saying that it will not allow Wagner to carry out such things.
So Russia is supporting the military.
It's the Wagner. It's not the
Wagner, but it stands to gain because the military they are already reach out to Russia.
It's because of the natural resources that is there. It's also strategic.
Uranium.
Yes, France do not want to take it for granted. But I think if we are going to go to the war, the France should take the lead. Exactly. Let them bring their troops and bring their resources.
They shouldn't use us to hold us into taking action. Meanwhile, they're trying to benefit
more. So they shouldn't push our president to such thing. We cannot even stand that expenditure at this point in time.
That's so I think that's giving the president.
So you can even see guidance say sending troops to Niger is akin to leaving leprosy to treat ringworms. That's quite strategic. So I think it is quite instructive to take other means rather than go to war.
And like at the end of the day, what are we going to expect? Because President Tinubu is going to meet with other ECOWAS leaders.
They will go to. I am sure President Tinubu, another ECOWAS president, will now give another ultimatum. That's why it's going to. It's ultimatum after ultimatum. They haven't given you a week. You will now go through diplomatic after a month. If you don't still succumb, we'll still go into war. I think that's how that.
But what about Debbie? The Debbie that also, sacked a democratic president and took over the country. Yet he's still the one that is also trying to perhaps broker peace in Niger.
Well, the thing is, there's always international dimension. People have different interests. So when you see war like this, so people really make that war happen. So you agree with me that man that take over, that military juntas that take over, does not take over without consultation as well. And you recall that around them also, Burkina Faso and what have you, they are also militarized in their country. Yes. So there is a kind of international dimension, and that's why we are cautioning our president to take it easy, to study the dimension. If there will be war against Niger, he should not take the lead. He should allow UN to take the lead. It is their responsibility to make sure there is a peace in every country and there is democratic rule. So they should take over. They should take over and lead before ECOWAS can really put in their resources.
Thank you so much. Now we have another trendy story on the manufacturers talking about Nigeria's economy. Like you have Vanguard says manufacturers borrow 1.8 trillion naira to survive in first half of 2023. And top 5 borrowers, we have Nestle, Guinness, Nigerian Breweries, Unilever, and International Breweries PLC.
You will notice that GlaxoSmithKline is saying that it's moving out of the country. And I always say that our CBN policy needs to be reviewed because if you recall, it is now 18.75% to even borrow now.
Yes.
So that means the interest is very, very high. And the challenge of the COVID-19 is also part of the manufacturing sector problem. The inflationary effect is on them.
And foreign exchange
that is has been floating is another problem. So looking at all these things, they don't have choice than to go and borrow. And they will borrow to an extent that they will say no, we will not go. So I expect government to intervene. Personally, if you ask me, I would advise President Tinubu, please look at this manufacturer, give them special forex leeway access for it, because once you give them, it will bring manufacturing, it will make manufacturing easy, it will bring employment, it will also control a lot of things in Nigeria. So I think President needs to look into that direction. However, he has considered them in some of his loans, but it should come in a way that they can access fund without being subjected to is it 875 naira now? It's quite alarming. It's not easy. In fact, and it's from climb. Most business will say, let me close shop. You know why you close shop? It's better you even put your money in bank and also be collecting interest than invest into manufacturing sector. So, and if you look at it now, look at there was this analysis done by leadership. They talked about how industry has been closing down, year after year, and some are even going moribund. So I think the president needs to come on board.
But don't you think it's high time the president intervened to change his naira floating policy? Because if you recall, President Buhari tried it in 2016, and of course it didn't work out. So he had to quickly wait.
I have negative view towards the president. If you look at president, most of things he does is in haste. They don't fully put the thing, so they should be creative and look at it. But in his speech, he said the federal government will intervene if there is need to intervene. And it is until when it is 1,000
many experts are of the opinion that they are already intervening. If not, it would have been more than 1,000.
But we want them to intervene because look, I must say this: I see the president of Nigeria reversing most of the things that he has done. When look at this naira floating, they may have to come on board.
Because
so if they will now come into the oil and you know what I want them to do? Oil and gas, give them special forex. Manufacturing, give them special forex. This would have reduced a lot of things. So I see them reversing. Even this first subsidy, I assure you, by the time the fuel, maybe there's increase in the market. There's increase in the oil market. Right now, if there's increase to like 100, you don't have choice than to still come and do subsidy for oil and gas. So I think we need to think, and that's why we always canvas that you don't look at the surface.
Because by the time fuel gets to 1,000, because Nigerians are being told all the time that by NNPC that is dictated by market forces. So a situation whereby, because OPEC has already decreed a cut down.
And when you say market forces, it is also true. We have two market forces now. Naira dollar floating is one the determinant. Yes. Two, the second one is
in the
price oil. International oil price also matters. So these are the two things that we are subject to, which is not good. And it's not in our hand to control those things. It is the international market. Because one is import and export window, one is the OPEC and OPEC plus. So it's a big issue. So we have to just intervene and look at what it's very, very critical.
Very critical. Now we are looking at an industrialized economy and having increasing our export system, a situation whereby some of these multinationals are having to close shop. Talking about
GlaxoSmithKline. It's quite, look at their reasons. They said that they are not breaking even and they need to get dollars, to spend at a naira, that is not stable. So it's a problem. But if you look at F&S, there's this economy that is called F&S. They say Nigeria is in the negative side, but they are now saying Nigeria is going to be stable because of the policy of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. However, that policy will only help international businesses that is coming to them because they can have a stable and prediction. But for local, it's going to subject us to serious hardship. Like you see, things are getting expensive every now and then, and it's getting serious on our now. So President Tinubu needs to come on board as soon as possible. I'm sure they will swear in the ministers this week from the way I'm looking at. They need to swing into action. But the only problem is that there's going to be bureaucratic process again. When you have the minister now, everything has to be from president to the minister, from minister to the director before they implement. But now that they don't have, we can also do a lot of so. But I canvass seriously that president should come in to give manufacturers special forest, and also oil and gas should be given a special forest, because these people that import, they are going to sell at the amount they are exchanging dollars. So there is no other way. So president needs to come on.
That way.
Right.
So is there actually hope or escape out of this log jam that we have, quagmire that we are in now?
Our economy is facing a serious challenge that needs special and creative way of handling it. So I think, in as much as the CBN will continue their pattern of naira floating and also of 18.75% NPR is becoming a serious problem. So they need to look at it very well and look at other leeway. And then security is another problem.
Yes.
If you look at most of the president's decision for to really pushing the effect, you are seeing that agriculture will come on board. Do you know that agriculture cannot come on board until February? You cannot start planting until February 2024. So now, what will happen before then? And when you start planting at 2024, it will start harvest in August. Another thing is that who owns the land in Nigeria? Is it the federal government or the state? So before you now approve the state, before the state will now approve land for you, and I doubt where would they get such humongous land. So it's better the government change their pattern and say each state give us also and handle it yourself.
Even in the north where you have they are known as food producer,
right?
Food producer. Now, because of security, do they have access to their land?
They don't have. That's the
problem.
problem.
Not taking that into
cognizance. So that's another issue. Where, according to Labaja, he said he's going to make sure things stable, and the Nigerian police say they are going to make things. So we are waiting for them to see how they are. And another challenge I have with this government is that it is when they are reactive, they are not proactive. I expect government to bring a robust plan for agricultural sector, a robust plan for industries, a robust sector for service sector, a robust plan. No, so but I say they are still going to bring the plan. So when are we going to see the plan? Until there is a reaction, but before they will now react to that reaction. It's not good for the Nigerian economy.
Now we are also talking about the airline. That's what Punch is leading with. The Punch newspaper is leading with this Monday. Foreign airlines repatriate over $4 billion in 15 months. Lagos London Fed, of course, that's been the talk of the town. And of course, somebody that was even traveling, I was suggesting to the person to go to Cotonou to buy ticket because it's 162% higher
in Nigeria. So the fact remains that Nigeria remains a center for them to annex anything they want.
Yes,
it's because we don't have legal framework that caution them and encourage our local airlines. Because if you encourage the local airlines, it will be a very good thing. But the thing is, look at Nigeria Airways that they want to bring on board. Look at what happened. So I think the federal government needs to have interest in Nigerian businesses very well. Because if you have interest in Nigerian business very well, especially this our airline now, and encourage them, give them some loans that are maybe single digit, it targets them, they will have more strength to compete. Look at Rwanda Air. I traveled to Rwanda and I saw how gigantic, and if you look at Ethiopia, look at Kenya, the amount they are raking in through their airlines is not small. So we have to look at, and we are the most traveled country in Africa.
That is why it's
not in Africa. So
Nigeria has a higher market for all these airlines. Then why is it that they are bleeding also?
Well, instead of
it was something that
start to look at
even
that,
former minister Odua also looked into. But at the end of the day, she couldn't succeed.
We must have a special interest on all those things and make sure we should look at it as a country business. Until you start looking at things as a country business, you won't take the airline serious. The fact remains that those players need to be encouraged through soft loan, through some encouragement and legal, our laws too. We need to look at which one is negative to these people investing more. Because if you tell most of the airlines to increase their aircraft, they will tell you the process they have to go through. Why don't we encourage them in terms of structure and even making the law much more easier? Look at Ethiopian airline, look at Rwanda Air, look at Kenya Air. You see that they are doing well. In fact, they don't have that's their number one business, and that's why they just have to go and partner one of them when we want to go have our own. And that's the problem. You can see in a place of Nigeria to partner our local airlines and give them the airline to operate. We went outside and give out about over 50% to another area. So I think we need to do. By the time we have minister, maybe they will have to look into that area critically.
And unfortunately, the National Assembly is not looking into this failed Nigerian air project by the past immediate minister of aviation.
Well, they have been querying questions because I listened to Hadi Surika, and the way he defends himself, I think our lawmaker need to do more to be able to tame such process, because he has the free hand to do it. Yeah, he has gone to do it. They even bring airline for us to see, and haven't seen. So we have not heard from them. So we expect that's why I said if we have good economy, it's the work of the legislature. If our economy is bad, it's their problem too, because they have the right on oversight function and also appropriation of budgetary allocation. So I think the National Assembly needs to do more. They should change from being a rubber stamp. So I hope this one will not be worse than the past legislature, because if you look at the bar and go syndrome that is going, we don't have confidence. I must say.
Yes, now that you mentioned that, Ali, we saw the bar and go. And saw some of these ministerial nominees, minister nominees. Like some of them, and I'm surprised that the lawmakers at the end of the day gave them a clean bill of health.
It's quite surprising, because I when I watched the screen, I expect that once you are a past legislature, you can have that and go. But I expect all that people to be really greedy and challenge them that what you have for Nigeria.
80, when you finish school or started
primary 3 years and all those things. I think that's not even the primary issue. The primary issue is that we need to go and review our constitution. Because look at in America,
going to be the one giving education.
It's the names and caprices of President Tinubu. But in America, what they do is that once they give you, portfolio is going to be attached, and you now be subjected to committee that is going to oversee that ministry, and you will have time to really screen you and ask you appropriate questions. But people are just coming. In fact, I saw when they're asking questions, the question they're asking is not specific. Who is sure that is going to be giving mixture of power? These are the things. So I think we should do more. But I don't want to say we don't have quality people, because we can see that there are some technocrats, there are some politicians, and you don't blame Tinubu. When he wants to become president, people work for him and they want to compensate. And democracy gives room for such a compensation. So I wouldn't even say those governors are bad, because Wiki, in his part, we believe he has done well. Every part to an extent has also performed well along. Gaidam and a lot of them. But I don't know. Matawali. So we hope they will do well. But I think doing well also is subject to President Bola Tinubu, because we recall that if he's using style of Obasanjo, if you don't do well in 3 years, 2 years, please just go, let someone else go. I think if you can develop a KPI for them where they measure their performance, that would have been very, very beautiful.
Thank you so much. I hope we are not going to have the predecessor's way of doing things, that we have ministers who ran 2 terms with him.
Well, it's possible if they perform. We remember even Erufai was not first timer for Obasanjo. He was the second timer and he performed. So if they don't perform, you should let them go. I think that should be any minister that does not perform President Tinubu should let that minister go after 2 years. They should develop a KPI. We don't want to sleep, and we don't want the style of Buhari, whereby ministers are there for good 8 years with them, and they are mediocres. Most of them are mediocres because we couldn't see what they have done. Okay, tell me what Adi Sirika and others have done in their ministry that is different from what they actually met. If they have done something well, we wouldn't have airline having issues and Nigeria suffering, or people traveling to Cotonou to buy tickets because Nigeria is not possible. So I think that's a challenge. We wish they would do well.
Thank you so much. Now, lastly, before we go, we also have another leading story on leadership. 500,000 bakery workers risk job losses over planned strike. What is happening?
Well, in as much as our major staple food, what we eat day to day is bread. I doubt if there's any household that does not eat bread daily. So I think President should come up with a good policy. Remember, Obasanjo also come with cassava bread mixture.
Yeah, but it needs to be light of the day. It started during Jonathan's.
So if we cannot get appropriate food, we should look for a substitute. And government should come in too. And these are what we think government should come in to do. Look at what common man eats daily and intervene in it. You won't blame them. Everything is expensive, and they are not making profit. Upon that, they are increasing bread price. They are also not making profit. So it's quite challenging. So I think President Bola Tinubu should do more to look at what people eat, staple food that people eat. Show me a household that does not consume bread in 2 days. It will be pretty difficult. So I think government should go into that and come to their earnings and create a solution for them. They don't have choice. They just have to complain. If you have worked in bakery, I think I had the experience. The process itself is not easy. You have to buy flour. And remember, those things are important too. So, and the naira float is affecting it, right? The war in Ukraine is also affecting it. So we need an intervention that will solve this problem.
Thank you so much. Now let's talk politics. In Edo State is stewing between the governor and his deputy, so much so that the deputy even went to court to stop his removal and impeachment. Now today, Edo Assembly is sitting. There's suspense as a Vanguard newspaper couched it. What is happening?
Well, the fact is that I don't know why Obaseki is like that. I really had little issue with Obaseki. And what's my issue is that look at everybody that worked with him. He's always falling apart with them. I never see him falling apart with Shuaib. But the fact remains that if you don't want Shuaib, maybe you say because most of them are from the same constituency, it's not a problem. Let him, give him a level play grant. And as a good politician, so you wait for him there. And you do your primary, you do your work, and you make him not to win. Not that at this point in time you start having issue with Philip Shuaib. And I think Philip Shuaib sacrificed for him a lot, if you ask me. Because if you look at the process itself, Philip Shuaib is having issue because of where he's coming from, not to contest most, because you can't have everything coming from his own area. But now you want to impeach him. And what time you are not in good time with him, which is your spokesman. You are not in good time with Oshomole that brings you. PDP that also bring you. You see, have issue with them. Shuaib, you have issue with them. So he's now your person. That's the problem. I know you are going. You are supposed to build a consensus that will have a good. So now remember he has told him to go and buy form for senatorial seat. He told Shuaib, but Shuaib said no. I have interest in to become a governor. But you are not now trying to shut him halfway. Why not let him compete and do your work, get your primary proper, then you let him to compete with you. So I think he does not want him to actually compete in that primary, maybe because he thinks he have upper hand. You should not forget that they also have Imashua Bank. They also have option of other parties.
Let's not to think of it. All the governors in Edo State, they not actually favor their deputy for that.
It's not only all governors.
No, we are looking at Edo State.
Okay.
I'm looking at just this feud between Obaseki and Shuaib, because his predecessor Oshomole did that too. Instead of him to bring in Odubu, he came and brought Obaseki, who was not part of.
I think that's what is called politics itself, because where the governor is seen is not where the deputy is actually seen. So the deputy is being used for deputy, and they will look for alternative. You get. So I think that is the issue. That's why sometimes I want to praise those that give power to their deputy.
Yes, like one person.
It's very rare. There's another governor. Is it? Yes. Is it one governor in Jos also did it? So it's a good thing to celebrate them, because it's not easy. So I think they are seeing them as competition and don't want them to be like them. I think that's
personally, I think it would have been better at least solidify and ensure continuity.
So that's the thing. Look at my Kogi State too. The governor think the deputy governor, but religion also play in constituency. I in as much as I don't like the way Obaseki is treating Shuaib, I agree with his excuse, but you should have allowed him to
compete. But if I want to agree with him, but the person himself is also supporting. It's also from him, Obaseki's son.
No. What he's saying is that minister is from Shuaib place, or Oshomole senator is from Shuaib place. So to add governor, that's the excuse he's giving, which is a valid one. But don't do it this way. Let him compete. That's it.
All right. Thank you so much. It's a pleasure to have you on today's program.
Thank you for having me.
I always look forward to having you every Monday. Probably as we've heard it all from a political scientist and a public affairs analyst, and you, Elias.
Thank you for having me.
I look forward to having you next week. My name is Winifred Ubebo. Until we come your way again, same time tomorrow. And here's wishing you a beautiful day. See you. Bye.
Be part of our brand. Leadership for God and country.